Okay, so got our financial plan moving forward, right? I feel like taking the wipe out. This beast. The uncontrollable beast. I had a really good sleep last night. I'm already yawning. Trap, whatever, of just being tired of it. No matter how much sleep I seem to get, it doesn't matter. I normally don't get enough sleep over that, but even on a day like last night where I get a really good sleep, I'm still tired. Everybody seems to be tired these days, though. It's just a social malady. You know, like everybody's tired because they're sick of I think that's got something to do with it. That actually, everybody's just tired of the world the way it is, right? Like, you know, work rules everything. You're always stressed about work. You're always at work. You seem to get any time to yourself. And then when you're home, there's always so much shit that needs to be done around home. There's never any time to just truly just relax and enjoy some downtime. It just never happens. I think that's a big problem, you know, and it's not one that I don't know how you fix it, and I don't think anybody cares enough to fix it, you know. Just not having people out and work as much stuff would people who run society don't want that, right? They want to work us to the bone. Get everything we can. So it's just something that goes unaddressed. Getting sick and dying. Depressed. Right. I just think of all this stuff like, I don't make minimum wage, I make, you know, a good chunk more than minimum wage, but still not a high salary or anything. If I was on my own, as a single income person on my own, it would be a struggle, right? Like, I'd still survive and be okay. Like, still do whatever, but it would be a lot tighter, right? I just think that at my job, the amount of money I make is probably the least in the whole building between all the different types of staff members there are in our building. Probably the least amount. But I'm on my feet literally my whole time, my whole day at work. I'm on my feet. Other than on lunch and on breaks, you know. It's not like I'm a mover, like I'm moving big fridges and shit like that all the time, but you're always doing something. You're always on your feet, you're always walking. You know, in the process of cleaning bathrooms and delivering things to certain places, you're always pushing something, pulling something, lifting something, you know, wiping something. Your body's always in motion. It's always doing something. There's always not a huge, massive fridge-sized strain going on, but always some sort of strain going on. And I just think, like, I come home at night, so many parts of my body are sore. And I'm tired. I can barely make it through a fucking Leafs game staying awake at night, you know. And I'm thinking, I make the least amount of money in this building? And this is what I have to fucking do and put up with? You know? Like, it's not fair, you know? Whereas these other people, yeah, I'm sure whatever they do is important to whoever it is, but they sit at a fucking desk all day long. They go to a bunch of meetings, like, fuck off, you know? Probably go home, they're not tired at all, you know. And that's the thing, there's different types of exhaustion. There's mental exhaustion and physical, but it's not like we don't have the mental either at our job. You know, we're in a high demand building, and I've told you about this bitch that has all these fucking, remember the duck story the other day about how we just get, you know, we do a good thing, save some ducklings, fucking immediately get fucking questioned, break over the rules about it, you know, like, and the other day she goes, this was this week, on Monday, after I left work, like when I leave work, I go out by the back staircase, by the loading dock, which is my area to clean, the loading dock and the staircase outside of it, that's one of my areas. And when I left that day, there was no spill on the landing by the stairs outside the loading dock. It was, you know, clean enough, right? That nobody should have said anything about it or whatever, right? And the next morning when I came in, something must have happened either later in the day after I'd left work, or first thing that morning, which I doubt because I'm one of the first ones there, right? There was some sort of stain on the landing of the staircase. It wasn't wet. It wasn't sticky. I think it was dirt. But I can't be sure. And so this bitch gets to work around 8 o'clock every day. So I've been there for a couple hours. I'm going about my schedule, my cleaning schedule, and getting stuff done. And this was on Tuesday, the next day. And on Tuesdays, I normally use the floor scrubber machine, the corridor machine, to wash my floors. So I have the basement floors, as well as I pop up and do the loading dock, and also do the landing by that staircase where the stain was. So I would have been using that machine around a quarter after 8 or so. So as I'm filling the machine up to get it ready to go, I get a call on the caretaker phone, whoever's on shift that carries it is carrying. And it's this bitch. She had just been to work for 15 minutes or whatever. She probably came in by the back staircase. She gets in and you immediately see her head scanning left to right, just looking for stuff, right? Just looking for any amount of dirt, any amount of whatever to just complain to her supervisor about, right? This is what she's like. And so she obviously noticed this stain or spill or whatever the hell it was on the landing. And so that's what she was calling me about. But our caretaker phone doesn't work that well, especially in the basement of the building, which is where I was filling up the machine. And so it was cutting in and out, But more or less, I got the gist that she was complaining about this spill on the staircase landing. So I was like, so eventually, like, it was cutting out so much, I just hung up, you know. And I was like, well, if the bitch had just left it alone, I'm in the process of starting to scrub these floors anyway. It would have been cleaned up. You know, if she'd arrived to work an hour later, she would never even fucking known about it, you know. So I just left it alone. I went and scrubbed my floors. In the meantime, our supervisor showed up because she had some setup information. She dropped off some pages for us to have a look at. And she mentioned to me, oh yeah, and Numbnuts called, you know, and she said something about a spill on the staircase, and I'm like, yep, I know. She's like, I'm sorry, and I'm like, I know. Because everybody knows she's a fucking loser, right? And so I'm like, you know, I got the scrubber out right now, as you can see. It'll be done in like 15 minutes, right? And so even our supervisor knows that she's a dumb bitch, right? Like, everybody in the building knows. So, you know, I go about my business and finish my floors, and by the time I've done my floors, it was time for break. And on Tuesday in our building, there's a free, like, the kitchen staff puts on a free coffee and muffin Tuesday, so everybody goes to the lounge and they get their free coffee and their donuts or cookies, whatever the hell they have. And so that's the only day the lounge is busy when we take our break then. And oftentimes on those Tuesdays, Bitchface and her coworkers will show up. And a lot of times lately, they've been like sliding in at our table to talk to us, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. One of them I don't mind. One of them's really great, but she's leaving soon anyways, unfortunately. But the other ones, I'm just like, would you go away? You know, like, fuck. Like, I don't want to talk to you to begin with. Like, you can come sit with us. Like you're our friends. Like, we respect you. Like, go away. Right? Like, all you do is cause me problems. I don't want to fucking sit with you, right? So she sidles in and sits down at the table, and she goes immediately. First thing she says is, "So why didn't you call me back?" Right? From when she tried to call me in the basement when I was filling out the floor scrubber to tell me about this spill, right? And I was like, oh, there's so many different ways I can come with this answer, right? But I just deadpanned. I was busy. That's where I went. But I could have been like, you called me? Why the fuck would I call you back? You know, like, you're the one that was looking for me. Why didn't you call me back? You know, like, I'm not gonna call you back. I don't want to talk to you in the first place. You know, like, fuck. This is the thing she doesn't realize, is that we don't need her for anything. We literally do not need her for anything. She plays zero significance in our success in this building. She needs us apparently for fucking everything. You know, all the tradespeople don't want to come to our building to fix things or renovate things because they have to deal with her. You know, anytime I talk to other staff members in the building, like for example, one of the librarians, she noticed some of the lampshades were a little dusty in a certain area, so she's like, you know, and it wasn't my area, so like, we don't do other caretakers area unless it's something vital, like a spill that somebody could slip in or whatever, because then it kind of, I don't know, it's just weird. Once you start doing somebody else's work, like, it's expected that you just keep doing it, right? So it's like whenever something like that happens, you just refer whoever's questioning about it to the facilities team in the building, which is this bitch. So one of the librarians was asking about the dust on the lampshades, and I said, oh, you could just report it to facilities, and then they'll you know, contact our supervisor or whatever, and they'll funnel the work to whoever's it is, right? And she goes, oh, okay. So who do I report that to? Who is it I talk to? And I told her this bitch's name, and she goes, she's so difficult to deal with. You know, it's like everybody fucking in the building, everybody outside of the building who has to come to our building, everybody knows her, everybody dislikes her. She's such a bitch, you know. And it's like, you know, you're calling me to report a spill in a staircase that wasn't there when I left the day before. You know? Like, how about you just let me do my fucking job? and the thing might disappear on its own, right? Like, she's like as soon as something happens, it's like she expects you to just be there. Oh, you should have fucking anticipated that stain happening and been there to get it right away, right? Like, this is what she's like. It's beautiful. She thinks, and the way, the attitude, the way she asks you things and tells you things, it's like she thinks you're her staff, her personal assistant, right? Like, okay, I say jump, and you say how high. Like, that's her, right? Like, it's like, fuck you. I've just stopped caring what she thinks anymore. A lot of the times, I don't even answer the phone when she calls anymore. Like, I see who it is, and I'm like, nope, that's going back in my pocket, right? Because it's always something stupid. It's always a waste of my time. You know, and the thing is, if she was like this, but at least was more tactful and appreciative of our efforts and stuff, you can have somebody who wants the same things done by us, but just have a totally different attitude in how they ask us and how they appreciate us about it, and we'd be happy to do it, right? But it's just her attitude of, you're my bitch, do it now, and be happy about it, right? That's just like, you know what? No, I don't care. Try and get me fired. You're not my boss. You have no influence over my position. It's like, fuck you. Oh, you want to try and get me transferred out of this building? Please do, right? Please do. Let me go to a regular building where they don't have this fucking stupid bitch in her ivory tower always like looming over us. You know, like, oh no. Oh, I'd hate to lose that aspect of the job, right? What a shame. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? And the bad thing is, another bad thing, sorry, not the bad thing, is, you know, like, I've often said this to my supervisor. It's like, I don't care what I do when I come to work and I put in my 8 hours or 7.5 hours, whatever it is of actual work time we do. I said, I don't really care what I do all day long. You know, if I'm working on setups for events, if I'm doing my cleaning schedule, if I'm doing random odd jobs like moving things to storage, and whatever it may be, right? Because there's lots of different things we do outside of what we should normally be doing, which is unique to this building compared to others, which is another issue in itself. It's like, should we be doing all this stuff? And if it is in our contract that we do take care of this kind of stuff, the frequency in this building is, I don't think it's meant to be this much, you know. So there's a lot of issues going on here, and I don't care what I do for those 7.5 hours, as long as that's the end of it, you know. Like, I come to work, I do whatever it is for the 7.5 hours, everything's fine, I go home. But the problem is, you'll come to work, you'll be doing your cleaning schedule, she'll call you away, I don't know, 5 times during the day, and she thinks every little time is just 5 minutes, it's just 5 minutes. You know, she has me moving a bunch of stuff out of the fucking mailroom because they're renovating it. It takes 25 minutes, right? She takes me to the storage room because she needs to get in there to show some fucking guy some fucking piece of equipment, right? There's another 15 minutes, right? Oh, but no, it's just 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. And then, so you run around, you waste an hour during your day just running on errands for this stupid bitch. And then she turns around and complains to our supervisor that, oh, he didn't get this clean today. You know? It's like, yeah, because I was running around fucking doing stuff for you all day long. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what I do all day long, but if I'm running around doing stupid shit from you, don't go complain that something didn't get done. You know? It would have, if I didn't have to deal with your dumb ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things that really makes me crazy. Like, she's just looking to be a problem. That's the kind of person she is. She likes being a bitch. She must get off on it. And I think that's why she's losing power over me, because I don't care anymore. I'm just like, okay, fine, do something about it. You know, push me too far. Complain about me to the union or my supervisors or something. See how that goes, right? Fuck you. You're nothing, you know? How you got this position is beyond me, because you're completely useless at it. You're in over your head. Everybody knows that, you know? And she probably makes I can't imagine how much more money she makes than me. You know, and she's always asking me questions about the building. I've only been there since last July. I haven't even been there a year yet. She's been in that building way longer than I have. Not in this, necessarily in this position that long, still longer than I've been there. And she's still asking me for stuff. I'm like, how do you not know? You're the facilities specialist. That's your fucking title on your business card. And yet you're coming to me about all this stuff? Like, fuck you. You're fucking useless. It's a shame that people like that can hold that kind of power and be able to be allowed to act that way. You know? One of the girls that she works with, which is the only good one up there, the rest of them are all useless. Not as useless as this bitch, but useless to other degrees. The only good one they have up there, she's leaving. She's gone and got a new position. She just can't fucking deal with it anymore. She's like, I don't like coming to work anymore. You know, I'm not happy. I dread it, you know, and it's all because of this bitch, right? Like, it's just a shame that somebody like that can be left to just run amok like that. You know? Like, there should be some sort of quality checks going on with people, right? Like, do some interviews for people around the building. Like, fuck. Quickly discover, oh, we have a problem here. Like, nobody likes this bitch. And the funny thing is that the caretakers that have been in this building for a long time have mentioned to me, like, nothing has changed in terms of, you know, in terms of a lot of the caretaking staff they have. There might be one or two new people over the last while, but the core of the caretakers there has stayed the same. The work has basically stayed the same. And before this bitch got her role, the girl that did it beforehand, there was never any of these problems. She was like, yeah, the building always looks great. Thanks for your efforts. There's never any complaints. You know, it's all this bitch causing these problems. And she always stages these complaints as, oh, we received a complaint. No, you didn't. You're the complainant. Nobody else in this building was complaining about this fucking stain on the fucking landing. You know? It was you that saw it. It's you that wants it cleaned up. You're the fucking complainer. You're the problem. You know? Shut the fuck up, right? Oh, I hate her. She's the kind of person, if, like, you came across her, like, bleeding out in an alley, you just, like, hands in your pockets, keep on walking, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, that's karma, you know? Oh. She just caught, and that's the thing, like, that I'm getting back to now is that, you know, we not only have all this physical strain on our bodies, but we should have almost no mental strain, because we should just be able to go do our job, do our run, clean the building, and that's the end of it, right? Like, yeah, it's hard on our bodies, but we should be relatively stress-free in the mind, right? But no. Now we got this bitch, like, fucking always harping on us and causing us problems. So it's like, we're getting it from both ends. You know what I mean? Like, it's awful. And when I mentioned that stain on the landing of the staircase, I don't think it was like a wet stain, like somebody dropped coffee or whatever. It was a darker color, like, and it wasn't really sticky and didn't seem like it was wet. I think it was some sort of concoction of dirt from outside. And the funny thing about this is a whole other story with this bitch. She gets all these, she's the one that comes up with all the ideas for changes they want to make in the building and different things they want to do. They're always bad ideas. Always bad. Like, you just hear what she's planning on doing and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, will they figure out that this is going to be stupid? No, they won't. They'll go ahead with it because that's what they do, right? They just want to spend money. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. They're going to do it, right? So in the loading dock, we have a laundry area with a washing machine, a dryer, and then some bins for our cloths and stuff like that. And it's within this little caged section of the loading dock. It's an open cage, but you can slide the cage door shut and lock it, right? So I don't know why. I don't know who's going to come in and steal fucking microfiber cloths, but anyways, it's caged in. And so this is on one of the short end walls of the loading dock. And beside the caged area on the other side of this wall was a set of wooden cupboards with a like linoleum kind of countertop, which was where we stored all of our new cloths that hadn't been opened and put into the mix yet, as well as some other mop heads and stuff like that, right? And the countertop is where, after we did laundry, we would fold all of our cloths before, you know, putting them in the bins or putting them on our carts, whatever, wherever we're gonna go, right? So it was a pretty good setup. It worked well for us. These pricks are so pretentious and so demanding that they somehow finagled a way to get one of the campus's landscapers to basically almost be at their building full time. If not him, then one of the summer students would always be there doing something, right? So in order to facilitate this landscaping team being at our building full time, they took our cupboards out and our countertop away and extended the black cage for the rest of the length of that wall, a separate cage, where the landscapers would put their lawnmower, all their tools and stuff like that, right? So they took away all of our space for those cupboards and countertop and storage and everything, put in this cage for landscaping. And I was talking to one of my morning co-workers as this construction project was unfolding, and I said, you know what's going to happen here? The landscapers are going to be in and out of the building, and they have to go through the building because there's a courtyard in the middle of the building, which is, if you listen to my duck story, that's where the ducks were. There's a courtyard in the middle of the building, so it's not just like they go outside, like outside the building. They're outside the building, and then they're going through the building into the outside of the building, right? So they're all through the building. And I said to him, they're going to be tracking all sorts of dirt and debris through the hallways, through the loading dock, all around here. Now that, especially, they're storing their tools in here, right? It's going to be filthy on a regular basis during, you know, the months where they are able to landscape. And I said, and you know what that bitch is going to be doing? She's going to be down here complaining that it's so fucking dirty. You know? Yet whose idea was it to put landscaping in here in the first place, right? You know what I mean? Like, she comes up with this stupid idea, which is unnecessary, and then she's gonna fucking come and complain about it when it gets dirty. Like, what the fuck did you think was gonna happen, numbnuts? Right? Oh, yeah, they just dig around in the dirt and cut grass all day long. No, there won't be any fucking fallout, some filthy fallout from that at all. What a dickhead, right? She's so fucking stupid. It's mind-boggling, right? It's like there can't be somebody this stupid in the world. Oh, yep. I was proven wrong. Exhibit A, right? Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's what the stain on the staircase landing was dirt from the landscaping crew. And I don't blame them. They're just doing their job. Fuck, I know they don't want to be there full time. I was talking to the guy, like, one of his first days he was there. He was like, oh, they really think their shit doesn't stink, right? Like, he immediately could peg them for being fucking idiots, right? Like, it doesn't take long. You know, so there's another person from outside the building that, you know, has determined she's fucking useless right off the bat, right? Like, it's unbelievable how fucking useless this bitch is, but how much she gets away with, right? Like, oh my god, I'll be so happy when she fucking leaves. And that's why it's fun to push back against her, because you know it'll drive her crazy. And I hope it's causing her stress, you know, because all she does is stress our team out, and that's not fair. We do a good job on that building, considering what we're up against. Yeah, the building's never going to look perfect, not when you have that many people coming through it every day, and they have 24/7 access as well. You can't clean a building to a perfect standard under those circumstances, right? So, you know, we do a pretty good job there, and she just never recognizes it. She's never happy. All she does is complain. So she deserves whatever she gets, you know, and I hope I can contribute to it. I'm just going to keep pushing back more and more the more this goes on, because I just keep getting more and more pissed off, and I'm like, why am I stressing out? When this bitch is so unreasonable, you know, like, I don't give a fuck anymore. When I first got there, like, my old supervisor, before she left, she said, we're bringing you there because we know the guy that was there before me in my role was a problem. Nice guy and a hard worker, but he was too hard. He was like, above and beyond was his motto, and he wanted to do everything for everybody. And that's why these people got used to caretakers basically doing almost anything, right? Like stuff that's not in our job description, stuff we shouldn't be doing, because he was volunteering to do it. So the kind of dynamic of what we did, our job description around there, got a little messed up because of him. So my old supervisor brought me in when he left to be like, well, you have the demeanor of, you know, the same type of demeanor that, you know, you could provide good customer service and be nice and talk to people the right way, but so you have the same type of personality that Michael did, but we want you to change. Like, we're trying to change how they view the caretakers there. Like, Michael shouldn't have been doing all the stuff that he did, and we want that to change. We want their expectations of what we do. You know, we need to bring things back in line so that we are just actually being caretakers and not also being landscapers and movers and, you know, delivery people, you know, like all the stuff that he was volunteering them to do on a regular basis that we shouldn't have been doing, right? So that was my job, to come in and kind of pare things down a bit, you know, get things more to where they should be, right? But it's hard to do when you're still, I was a relatively new caretaker to begin with at the time. And then I just got moved to a new building when I was still relatively new to do that kind of task in a building that's really demanding, right? So it's taken me a while to really kind of find my groove and how I want to approach this, but the thing about it is, the longer you're there, the more shit you see her put people through, the easier it gets to just, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. Nope, she's not doing that. No, that's not her job. No, she's on break right now. You'll find her later. You know what I mean? Like, I'd like to just one day explode on her and just lay it on the line for her and say that's, you know, but that's just not my personality. Like, I don't like confrontation, whatever. For me, confrontation is the last step. You know, like for me, confrontation is a fist fight. You know, like I've tried every subtle thing I can do to change the situation and whatever, and nothing's, you know, this other person can't take any hints, they can't do what I can. So things blow up, and the ultimate confrontation is I beat the shit out of you, right? So, you know, there's no kind of like arguments or whatever. It's all like trying to do it subtly and diplomatically until I just had enough and I want to fucking murder them. You know what I mean? Like that's to me, that's how it works. Because I'm just not, you know, I don't want to upset anybody. I don't want to whatever, right? I'm a very peaceful person until you push me too far, and then I'm not, right? So yeah, I've tried everything to just kind of change this dynamic here and do it subtly, right? So that's why, like, little things like I purposely don't answer the phone when she calls me 500 times a day. Like, get the hint, lady. Like, we're not here just to fucking serve you. You know, like most of our day is taking up with our cleaning schedule. All this extra bullshit you want us to do, we don't have that much time for that kind of stuff because we shouldn't be doing it. Right? Our days aren't built to accommodate that much bullshit. You know? It's mostly to clean. You know what I mean? So she's got to take the hints here, but she's not. She never will. She's too fucking stupid for that. So yeah, I'm just trying to find these little subtle ways to push back and save, like, because if I answered the phone every time she called, like, oh my god, it's relentless. And it's always something stupid. It's some little stupid thing that you can figure this out on your own. You don't have a key yourself to let you into that room. Like, you're the facilities specialist, right? Like, shouldn't you have fucking keys for the building? Oh my god. Because one time she called me and said, oh, and you should come let me and... It was an electrician, maybe. I think it was an electrician. She called me, she's like, I need you to come and let me and the electrician into, mechanical room, whatever it was, right? So I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. So, I drop whatever I was doing. I was probably cleaning the bathroom or something. Like, drop what I'm doing, walk across part of the building, which takes 5 minutes, or whatever, and go down. And then by the time I got there, like, the electrician, they all have master keys for the buildings in campus because they're all over the place. They need to get in everywhere. He had a key. He let himself into the room. So I show up, they're already in the room, they're doing whatever, and I'm like, do you need me anymore? Like, I showed up and I walked into the room and I kind of looked around and I watched them talk about whatever they're talking about. She didn't even acknowledge me, right? And so I stood there for a couple minutes and I'm like, okay, so do you need me? Oh no, we got in okay. So then I just turned around and left and I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like, this is the kind of thing that happens all the time. It's just a total lack of respect, Yet in the same breath, she'll waste my time doing a bunch of that shit all day long, and then she'll turn around and complain to our supervisor, oh, he didn't clean this, he didn't clean that. Fuck, maybe if I wasn't walking across the building 800 times a day, letting you into fucking rooms you already got into, like, you know what I mean? It's just mental. It's like, I can't even... I wish I'd recorded every incident since, like, I wish I knew what was coming for me when I got to that building, because I would have documented every single little situation, and I would have wrote a book afterwards, just like being like, this is how ridiculous people can be, right? Because it's like, it literally is unbelievable, It's crazy, like. And after a while, like I said, you stop caring, right? Like, I just don't care anymore. Like, our old supervisor, before she left, she told us, she said, don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of her. She can't do anything to you. She's not your boss. She can't get you fired. Like, she's basically nobody. She's just a pain in the ass is what she is, right? So, and I'm glad she said that. She said that to me in one of the other morning staff when we were on break one day. And it was kind of nice to hear that because, you kind of worry, right? Like, you're like, well, if this bitch keeps bothering me with all this useless stuff, and I just keep taking it and I don't push back, I'm going to go crazy, But if I do push back, like, can I get in trouble or whatever? And then she told us that, and it was like, oh, okay, good. So now, like I said, I barely answer that. I'll answer maybe one in 5 of her phone calls, So I'm trying to get her to take the hint that, don't call me for everything. I'm not your personal assistant. Most of the times you call me, it's something stupid that I don't even need to be involved in, or I shouldn't have to be involved in. You should be able to figure it out on your own. It's just a waste of my time. It's a waste of my mental energy. It stresses me out. I don't fucking need this, right? Yeah, and then like the other day, like, they know our schedules. They know which areas we clean. They know when our lunchtime and when our break time is. And she literally calls me a lot of the time. Like, our break is at 9:30 in the morning. She'll call at 9:34, 9:35 on a lot of days, right? And most of the time I just ignore it. It's like, I'm on break. Whatever. Sometimes she'll come find us. She knows where we are. It's like, she'll call. I don't answer it. She'll call again. I don't answer it. And then 2 minutes after the second call, she shows up in the lounge. Oh, there you guys are. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, you knew where the fuck we were. Like, come on. Do you think we're stupid? Fucking psycho, right? Like, psycho. One day this week, like, there's these relays for the lighting system that just go on and off. Every once in a while, they won't work properly. They'll not come on, or they'll switch off on their own. And it happens a lot on the 3rd floor relays, which powers some of the lights on 3rd, but a lot of the lights on the 4th floor, kind of mezzanine area. And so they won't come on, so a lot of the lights up there won't be on, right? But it's not a problem, especially during the day, because there's so many windows in that building and so much natural light that a lot of people don't want their lights on. They ask us to actually take the bulbs out because it's too bright, right? So it's never really a problem, you know? But of course, as soon as she finds out there's lights not on, oh, can you check the relays, baby? You know where they are. If you had keys to let yourself in, you might be able to go do it yourself, you fucking Nimrod. But no, you gotta bug us about it, right? So anyway, she called. She called at like 9:34 on break earlier this week about the relays, and I answered it this time. And she's like, "Oh, the mezzanine lights aren't coming on. Can you go and check the relays?" And I'm like, "Yo, we're on break." And there was just silence, right? And I love it because I think when people do that to you and there's silence on the line after, I think they think that for the other person it's stressful and that you're going to cave and say something before they will. And I just sat there. We're on break. It took a little while. And she's like, okay, well, after your break, can you go check the relays? You know, like, yep. Bye. Right? Like, you know what I mean? She's just a manipulator. There's no respect, you know? And I've just started pushing back in all these subtle kind of little ways, right? Like I want to get her to the point where she doesn't like calling me anymore, because there's a possibility I might not answer. There's a possibility I might fight back against it. Like if we're on break or if it's not part of our job, I'll say no, or I'll say, well, yeah, but we're busy right now, so we'll get to it eventually, right? Like I want to get her to the point where she doesn't want to call me anymore, because she knows there's going to be some sort of pushback, right? Because only then will she start figuring things out on her own and realizing that, hey, maybe this isn't such a big deal, you know? Because if you just keep feeding into it, if you answer the phone every time she calls, if you go do what she wants right after she calls you about it every time, she's just going to keep doing it. She's just going to keep expecting that this is the way I can get it. This is the behavior I can get away with. These are my staff. I can treat them however I want. You know, it'll just keep, the cycle will just keep going, right? So you got to try and, like, you got to break it, right? And it's not like she's a nice person and I kind of feel bad about doing these kind of things. No, she's not a nice person. I don't feel bad. It actually makes me feel good in a lot of ways, right? So it's a lot easier to fight back in my own ways, right? Because like I said, she was such a bitch. It just makes you feel good, right? Like my whole life philosophy has been like, I'm not sure if I've ever talked about this before, but ever since I was a kid, like I was an only child, I was very quiet and shy. You know, I kept to myself quite a bit. And I've always been like, I don't want to be anybody's problem, you know? I don't want to be the reason that this person... What? Was it flame? What are you talking about? What the fuck did I hit? You know, I don't want to be the reason that this person has an issue going about their day today. I don't want to get in the way of this person being happy and doing this today, you know? Like, I just want to go through my day, not be an issue to anybody, you know, and be happy and live my life and just be normal, right? And in return, with that kind of attitude, I've wanted other people to be the same way. Like, don't you get in my way, you know? Don't you cause me problems just to cause me problems, right? So this bitch goes totally against my whole life philosophy. Like, she's the exact opposite polar end of where I'm at, you know. So automatically, I don't get her. I don't understand her. I don't get why she just wants to be a problem. Like, I don't get people like that, right? So automatically, like, I don't like her. You know. Be a bitch just to be a bitch. I don't appreciate that. I don't understand it. I don't want any part of it. You know, so that's the exact kind of person. Like, she's the exact opposite of of what I am, you know. And I don't want anything to do with her. And the building director that's above her, he's not as bad, but he's the same kind of thing. He's just useless. He makes a lot of bad decisions. Like, she makes bad decisions, but he's in even more of a higher role than she is. So his decisions are just as bad as hers, but they're on a bigger scope, right? So, like, the two of them together, it's like Dumb and Dumber. I'm not sure which one's Jim Carrey and which one's where is it, Lloyd? No, Jeff Bridges. I'm not sure which one's which, but you know, they could easily have a fucking comedy made about them. I'm pretty sure though it may not be a comedy, it might be a horror instead, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just so fucking into much for both of them. But she's the one we have to deal with mostly, so his stuff we just deal with every once in a while, so it's kind of whatever, but her, it's just everyday relentless, you know. Alright, I think we have maybe time for one more. Another tower. Yeah, so that's kind of the stuff that I've been dealing with. And that we've been dealing with as a whole in that building. And I know some of the other caretakers don't dislike her as much as I do. A lot of them do. I think it depends on, like, so, like, we work early in the morning and leave in the early mid-afternoon, right? So we're in the building with that bitch for, let's see, she gets in 2 hours after we do, so, like, we're at work for 6.5 hours with her in the building, based on our schedules. The afternoon crew that comes in are only with her for 1.5 to 2 hours. So they don't get the exposure to her and her nonsense like we do. We get the brunt of her stupid impact, right? The three of us in the morning. So the three of us in the morning easily hate her the most of the entire crew. Now the three guys that come in for the night shift, they don't see her at all. So I'm not sure. I don't think they like her. I don't think anybody even likes her per se, but they don't have the same amount of animosity that we do, right? And then the girls that come in, like I said, that have to deal with her for 1.5 to 2 hours. There's a varying degree, and I think it depends on, like, this bitch works on the second floor, so oftentimes if you're on second floor, you'll run into her. So I think the girls that work on second floor dislike her more than the girls that work on third or ground or whatever, right? Because they run into her more, they have to deal with her more, so they see more what she's like, right? So it all depends on your exposure level to her, right? Because if you don't have to see her that often, if you don't have to deal with her that often, you know, she may not seem that bad. But yeah, if you have to deal with her on any significant basis, no, you'll fucking dislike her. It's impossible not to, right? But yeah, that's my days in a nutshell at work. It's a shame, but again, that's life. This is the way our society works. You go to work, you get pounded every day, and go home. Get very little time on your own, and you get to do it all again the next day. It's great, right? Alright, let's see if we can pull a good chunk of money here. Come on, come on, come on. Gifts. 30 grand maybe? I thought it was landing on the invitation, so I was like, okay, 30 grand will do. Right? Anytime you see an invitation, you're like, okay, just anything but that piece of shit, right? Oh, the Porsche. Okay, yeah, so it's 4.5, so that's not happening. Everything else is gone. Yeah. Should I just keep saving and maybe I can get this? It'll probably disappear right as I'm about to get the 4.5, right? Like, that's the way things kind of work. Well, let's go see what's in the used cars. Oh, the Countach sold out. Wanted that one. Add it to the wisho listo. Still got 2.3, so if we have a 2.5 come up all of a sudden, we can pretty much get it no problem. So yeah, at least I got something. Thought about just keep going and saving up for that 4.5, but ugh. Seems ridiculous to spend that much money on a car, especially an old Porsche that probably isn't even that fast, right? Simply to complete that menu book, right? But oh, there it is. All right, so there we go. Yeah, like I said, we'll maintain close to a $2.5 million balance, so that if one of those cars does come up, we can nail it. And we'll just keep buying cars like that, 400 to 600, 700 grand at a time as they come up, and until I get that Autobahn trophy, whenever it's going to come, and then we'll decide on if I'm going to continue ahead or put her on the shelf.